Hi, this is Shannon. This is Cycle 1, Week 11. I'm excited to share with you some tutor ideas and some ideas that you can use at home to practice the memory work with your kids. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I have some more games and activities you can do with your kids at home to practice this memory work, and they're all free. You can download them from my blog, so I'll explain more at the end of this video how to get those. If you are new here, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little kids, and we do classical homeschooling and love it. And I just love sharing my tutor ideas and things that we do at home to practice the memory work and just how we homeschool at home. I have the privilege of tutoring the abecedarians this year, so that's the younger kids, the 4 through 6-year-olds. So these ideas will be with them in mind, but you can customize them if you have kids a little bit older that you're tutoring. We are going to start with English today. I have the prepositions written in this preschool lined paper notebook. I've shown these before. I'll link below where I got them, but they're just preschool lined paper notebooks. And I like writing some of the prepositions down. Some of them I write in little dots so the kids can trace. Some of them I leave blank so the kids can write on their own. One thing I really like about this, I've shared before, is you can customize it to the level of the kids in your class. You can even customize it to each individual kid. So if you have a little bit older kids, you could have them write more of them on their own. Or if you have younger kids, you could just write all of them for them and let them try to trace some of the letters or somewhere in between. So the prepositions today, I have under, underneath. I'm going to let them trace until, and then up, upon. So they'll write until and up, and then I wrote upon for them. So I will pass these notebooks out. I've made one for each kid in my class. I've put their name on it and a biology design related to this cycle. This is not one of the names of the kids in my class. I'm just using it as an example. So I will hand them out, and I'll let the kids have a few minutes to practice writing them, and I'll walk around and help them. The other parents in the room will help them too. And then after they've had a few minutes to do that, we will sing our preposition song and do the preposition motions together. For our motions and our song this week, we are starting with under and ending with upon. So last week we ended with toward. So remember we had pointed in front of us for to and then stepped forward for toward. So then we bring our hand over our head for under, and then we bring that hand under and squat for underneath. So we've got under, underneath. Then we've got until. We're going to bring our fingers together while we're still squatting. And then we stand up for up and bring our hands up like this. And then bring our hands down for upon. So again, it looks like under, underneath, until, up, upon. Okay, now I'm going to do them all from the beginning. So starting at week 2 through week 11. So here we go. About, above, across, after, against, along, amid, among, around, at, atop, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, but by, concerning, down, during, except, for, from, in, inside, into, like, near, of, off, on, onto, out, outside, over, past, regarding, since, through, throughout, to, toward, under, underneath, until, up, upon. So also I made a video of all the prepositions in slow motion, so I'll link that below in the description if you want to watch them done slower. After I teach them the new preposition motions and we go over them together and sing them together, then I like to play a little game where I have them choose a motion to do in front of the rest of the kids and not say it, just do it. For example, and then the rest of the kids have to guess what that preposition was. So for example, somebody might do this one, and that was from today, and that's up. So then we see if anybody else remembers what that one is. So that's a fun way just to review some of the prepositions we've done in prior weeks and to have them practice some of the new ones. They really enjoy doing that. Also at the end, I like to give them a sticker to put on the front of their books, and then I will collect these and take these for the week and then bring them back next week. At the end of the year, I give these to the kids to take home. For timeline this week, I have my timeline cards. I get these from the Classical Conversations bookstore, I'll link below. And then I like to put these dollar store letters on each of them. So I put the first letter of each event on each card because I have the younger kids and some of them can't read yet. So I like to do that so they can identify the card easier. So what I will do is have these hidden around the room before our class time starts. And then when we get to timeline, I'll tell them to go around and try to find one hidden around the room. I'll have them each just find one card, or if I have fewer kids in my class, maybe they can find two, but I want every kid to have a chance to find one. And then once they find one, they'll bring it back to their seat, and we will go over the timeline events in the correct order and put them on the wall. So I'll have 7 pieces of painter's tape up on the wall, and I'll tell them, okay, our first timeline event is Norman conquest and feudalism in Europe. Who knows what Norman starts with? Ooh, an N. Who has that card? And then whoever has that card gets to go put that up on the wall. So press it against the painter's tape in the first spot. And then we'll go over the next event, the Crusades. What does Crusade start with? And we'll talk about it starts with the C. Who has that? Oh, yay. So whoever has that one gets to go put that up on the second spot until all the timeline cards are up on the wall in the correct order. Then we're going to do something new where I'm going to have each kid take a turn with the fly swatter. For example, the first kid, say his name is Tommy. Tommy's going to go up and we're going to all sing the timeline songs starting at Norman conquest and feudalism in Europe. And as we sing it, he's going to try to swat each card. And I'm going to tell them, don't be too rough. Try to do it gently so they don't fall off the wall. I'm sure some of them will. We'll just tape them back up. But I'm going to challenge them. I want you to try just to tap it with the fly swatter as we sing that event. So don't just go boop, 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 boop. Try to wait until we sing that particular event before you actually hit it. Now I have some kids who are a little bit older, like closer to 6 in my group, and some kids who are younger. So, some of them will get this more than others, but it's just meant to be fun and they're hearing the timeline song. So that's the main thing. So what I like to try to do is beforehand familiarize myself with the tune of the timeline song that we are doing, or the part of the timeline song that we are doing, so I can kind of sing it for them. And I like to just sing it so I can control the speed, but you could also play it. I'll have the first kid, so Tommy will go up there and I'll say, okay, here we go. Norman conquest and feudalism in Europe. The Crusades, Zimbabwe, and early Mali in Africa. So I'll probably be the only one singing the first time, but hopefully, by the 3rd or 4th kid, some people will join in with me. So then it goes, Aztecs of Mesoamerica, Francis of Assisi and Thomas Aquinas, Japan shoguns, Incas of South America. So again, hopefully they're swatting as we're singing, and I'll encourage the kids to try to sing with me. So every kid will get a try. So once we get through our events, then I'll have another kid go and try, and again, encourage the kids to try to sing along with me. Then after each kid gets a chance to use the fly swatter, you could have the kids all go stand up in front of the cards and go over the motions together. So the first one is Norman. So we put 2 fingers over our thumb. Norman conquest and feudalism in Europe. And then we've got the Crusades, Zimbabwe, early Mali in Africa. Then Aztecs of Mesoamerica. So I'm making a triangle. Aztecs of Mesoamerica. Then Francis of Assisi. I'm making an F. Francis of Assisi and Thomas Aquinas. Japan shoguns, it's like I'm pulling out my sword. Japan shoguns, Incas, so I'm making little mountains like this. Incas of South America. So that is timeline this week. For geography this week, we are learning about the Byzantine Empire. So I have my Trivium table map. Our director got these for everyone. If you don't have one of these, you could find the same map in the Sandbox e-zine in CC Connected and then print it out and laminate it too. But I like to label the locations we're doing with dry erase marker before our class time, so I do this for each kid's map ahead of time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give each kid the prepared map and then give them some chocolate chips just for fun. And I'm going to tell them, okay, you can't eat the chocolate chips yet, so they got to use some self-control. But they're going to put a chocolate chip right beside each city, not on top of it, because I want them to see the color of the city, but right beside each city. So as we go over them, they're going to put a chocolate chip on each city, and then at the end, I'm going to ask them if any of them know, what is the orange city? If somebody knows, then everybody can eat that chocolate chip. So what we have first is Constantinople in blue, and then Rome in pink, Athens in orange, Ephesus in green, and Antioch in purple. So I'm going to go over what each city is with them, have them put their chocolate chip right beside each one, and then I'm going to teach them a little song to the tune of Joy to the World, since we're getting closer to Christmas here, and it goes like this. Byzantine Empire, Constantinople, Rome, Ephesus, Athens, Antioch, Byzantine Empire, Constantinople, Rome, Ephesus, Athens, Antioch. So we'll sing that a few times and then I'll say, okay, who knows what the green city is called? And then, hopefully somebody will remember and I'll say, okay, everybody gets to eat that chocolate chip off the green one. You could do it different ways, but since I have really little kids, I'm not gonna make it too competitive. I'm just gonna let everybody eat one. Then, okay, now who knows what is the pink city called? Rome. Now everybody gets to eat that chocolate chip. And of course, you want to check with the parents beforehand to make sure there's no food allergies and they're okay with you giving their kids chocolate chips. So just check with them beforehand so you don't run into any awkward situations. You could always use other stuff, or you could use little erasers again. So lots of options. So that is geography this week. For math this week, we are skip counting the cubes. And what I'm going to do is on my tutor board, I'm going to have all the cubes written out. I'm going to tell the kids just to watch and follow along with me as I sing our cube song. Then we're going to choose some numbers to circle. So at first, I'm just going to sing it to them and have them follow along with my fingers. So it goes like this. 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, 343, 512, 729, 1,000, 1,331, 1,728, 2,197, 2,744, 3,375. So then I'll ask for a few volunteers to tell me some numbers to circle. So I'll circle them on my tutor board, maybe just like 3 or 4 numbers. And so I'll tell them, okay, when we get to the first circled number, we all have to stand up. So we're all going to start sitting down. We have to stand up when we get to the first circled number. Then when we get to the next circled number, we have to sit down. So we're going to stay standing until we get to the next circled number, and then we sit down. And then the next circled number, we have to stand up again. So we only change positions when we get to a circled number. So we'll do that the first time to like 3 or 4 circled numbers, and then I'll have them add a couple more circled numbers. So we'll do it several times until all the numbers are circled at the end. And this is really fun because, you'll start sitting and then the first number is circled, so you'll have to stand up, and then you'll have to sit down, the next number, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. So you're basically alternating every single number, which is just kind of fun and silly. So again, you start sitting down, Then when you get to the first circled number, then you stand up. Then you stay standing until you get to the next circled number, then you sit down. Then you stay seated until you get to the next circled number, then you stand up. And so each time you're adding a few more numbers that are circled, and so you're standing up and sitting down more often, if that makes sense. So that is math this week. For history this week, we are learning about Emperor Constantine and the Byzantine Empire. And I'm going to do silly words again. So this means that first I'm going to sing or say the history sentence normally to the kids and tell them to listen really, really carefully. And then I'm going to sing or say it with some silly words added in. And when they hear a silly word, they have to raise their hand and let me know. So I really like this because they love it. They get really into it. And it's a way that they hear the history sentence spoken correctly a lot of times. So the way I do it, I'm going to kind of try to sing the song because it's really fun. This is probably my kids' favorite history song of this cycle. So it goes like this. History, History, Emperor Constantine stopped the persecution of Christians in the Eastern Roman Empire. In AD 330, he moved the capital to Byzantium and renamed it Constantinople. Emperor Justinian's code became a model for legal systems. History, History. The Byzantine Empire lasted until Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople in 1453. So then I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to add some silly words in. So if you hear a silly word, raise your hand. So here we go. Elmo, Constantine, wait, who? Not, oh, Elmo? No, not Elmo. Who should it be? Oh, Emperor. Okay, sorry, I'll try again. Emperor Constantine stopped the parading of Christians. Parading? No, what should it be? Oh, persecution. Okay, all right, sorry, let me try again. Emperor Constantine stopped the persecution of Christians in Eastern Roman Empire. Wait, what? Easter? No, what should it be? Oh, Eastern. So you can see I keep going back to the beginning and saying it correctly until the next silly word. So that's why they're hearing it correctly a lot of times. Now you can just say it. You don't have to sing it. I just think it's fun to try to sing the tune if I can. So the rest of the silly words I did, I'll start at the beginning. I did Elmo instead of emperor, parading instead of persecution, Easter instead of Eastern, crawled instead of moved, repaired instead of renamed. Then I did little systems instead of legal systems, eagle instead of empire, Superman instead of Ottoman, and California instead of Constantinople. So those are the silly words I use. You could totally just make them up on the fly too. So that is history this week. For Latin this week, we are doing the 5th declension noun endings. And first, I'm going to sing the Latin song for them and have them just listen. So it goes like this. Ace, A-E-M-A. Ace, A-E-M-A. Ace, A-E-M-A. Singular 5th declension. And then I am going to see if anybody wants to try to volunteer to sing it with me. And everybody else has to try to hold their breath while we sing. So hopefully somebody will volunteer. If not, I'll just do it myself again. And everybody has to hold their breath or try while I do it. Now I'm just going to do the singular part first. I'm not going to try to do it all because that would be a long time to hold their breath. But if you have older kids who think they could do it, you could try to do the singular and the plural and have them hold their breath the whole time. Again, I'll sing it like this. So everybody hold their breath. Okay. Ace, A-E-A-E-M-A. Ace, A-E-A-E-M-A. Ace, A-E-A-E-M-A. Singular 5th declension. Then they'll all take a breath. I'm like, okay, anybody else volunteer to sing it? And everybody has to hold their breath. And You can encourage some other kids to try, and you can sing it with them if they're a little bit shy. And so it's just a fun spin on it. Hopefully everybody gets a turn to try to sing it either with the tutor or by themselves if they want to try. Then you can do the portal, obviously, which goes like this. Ace, arum, avis, ace, avis. Ace, arum, avis, ace, avis. Ace, arum, avis, ace, avis. Plural fifth declension. And then everybody else breathes. So that is Latin this week, holding your breath. For science this week, we are talking about what are some parts of a flower. So first, I'm going to teach them this song to the tune Who Built the Ark? And it goes like this. So first, I'm going to sing it normally for them. What are some parts of a flower? Petal, stamen, anther, pistil, sepal. What are some parts of a flower? Petal, stamen, anther, pistil, sepal. Then I'm going to give them each a silly voice. So I have these silly voice cards. I've shown these before if you've watched my other videos. They're free on my blog. I'll link below where you can get them if you want to use them. Or I also made these silly voice sticks just to change it up. And I have a link below with a picture. So it says tongue out. It's just same idea, but just on sticks instead. Just have something different. So you can choose the cards or the sticks and have each kid choose one and then rotate singing the song in the different silly voices. So, for example, one of the cards says, hold your tongue. So you would try to hold your tongue out of your hand, etc. Or through your teeth. So it's super fun. I like doing this at the end because it just makes them laugh and they're tired and gets them engaged, and it's just a fun way to hear that memory sentence and practice the song. So that is science this week. This week for review, we are going to play a game called Stop, Drop, Act Like a Rock. So what that means is I'm going to tell the kids to just move around the room, and then I'm going to say, okay, stop, drop. So they got to drop to the floor. Act like a rock. So they got to curl up and be like a rock on the floor. And then I'm going to walk around. I'm going to tap on a rock, tap on a kid that's acting like a rock, and ask them a review question. So I might say something like, can you tell me what one of the prepositions was that we learned this week? And then, hopefully they can tell you one. If not, I might be like, oh, who can help him? Who remembers, just so nobody's put on the spot. And then we'll do it again. So I'll have them get up and move around again, and I'll say, stop, drop, act like a rock. Then I'll walk around and pick somebody else to answer a question. And again, I'm going to keep them pretty simple questions. You could always, pick a rock, but let anybody answer if you feel like that's, not good for the kids in your group. But I think if you keep it pretty simple, they'll think that's pretty fun to try to answer when they're acting like a rock. You could also use these movement cards. I've showed these before. They're free on my blog about like lay down, waddle, tiptoe, etc. So you could have them just do some fun movements as you ask them some review questions. All right, now I want to share with you some of the games I've made for this week that you can do with your kids at home to help practice the memory work. These are all free on my blog, so I'll link in the description how you can download them. But the first one for science is a make your own flower game. So I have these different parts of a flower that you can cut out, and the petal somewhere. I already cut it out, but petal and then the other parts. So it kind of looks like this when you put them together. So what they can do is, so you'll cut them all out, and then I have this dice template. You can cut this out and just glue the edges together. So your kids will take turns rolling the die, and then whatever part of the flower they land on, say they landed on pistil, they'll grab one of those for their garden. Then when they get enough parts, they can put together some flowers. And sometimes they might roll, a deer ate one of your flowers, put one of your flowers back. Or rain showers and sunshine, add a whole new flower. So different pieces to it, but whoever gets 5 whole flowers in their garden first wins the game. So you're just rolling the die, adding parts to your garden until the first person gets 5 whole flowers. So that's science. I'm really excited about that one because I think it's just really fun. All right, now for history, I have these different cards with the different parts of the history sentence on them. And then I have a game board. And so the goal is everybody's going to start here and then draw a card, and whatever card you get, you move to that first spot. And so the players will alternate doing that. And each time you get to a spot, you collect that card. So if I collect this card, next time I get to this spot, I don't collect another card. I already have this card. My goal is to get all of the different cards, all the different parts of the history sentence. So by the end of the game, the person who has the most cards wins. So it's just a good way to practice the history sentence and think about the different parts of it while playing a game. So that's history. For Latin, I have this bingo game. I've showed this before. This has all the different noun endings. So this includes all of them from weeks 3 through week 12. So this is a great way to review all the different Latin noun endings. For geography, I have this fun map of the different cities that we're talking about this week and a grid. So the game is everybody will start at start and then roll a die and move however many spaces the die says. So if you rolled a 5, you could move down 5 or across 5, not diagonal. And the goal is to hit each city. So each city is in a square. And once you get to a city, then you get a city card. And so the first person to get all 5 city cards wins. And then for math, we are doing skip counting the cubes. So I just made this Christmas puzzle. Basically, you can just cut out all the strips of paper. They all have a cube at the bottom, and then mix them up. And your child can put them together in the right order and make the Christmas tree. All right, and then for English, I've shown these before, but I made preposition cards for every preposition that we do from week 2 through week 12 with a little picture and a sentence using the preposition. So my daughter and I like to play memory with these, or you could just use them to review the prepositions, either way. So make sure you get these if you have any desire to use these this week. I just really like making these games because I like trying to find fun ways to practice the memory work with my kids at home. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'm posting 2 videos per week relating to homeschooling, tutor ideas, and healthy living. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I like to post what we do homeschooling-wise throughout the week. And make sure you check out my blog. I'm posting all the free games and activities I make there, and I write up blog posts about tutor ideas and just ideas for practicing the memory work and homeschooling throughout the week. So check that out and have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks so much for watching.